Another beautiful time to engage, to interact, Um, it's going to be a beautiful and a wonderful discussion. It's going to be a wonderful discussion. So, I mean, this is the welcome session. Let's see how many of you can join and discuss. Let me do away with it, but AirPods. Okay, let me know if you can hear me. I think you should be able to hear me. Um, yeah, the last time we connected, we were in Belfast, in Ireland. It's great to be connected now. Yeah. So, what's there to discuss about our cities? Our cities make us, innit? I have a song, "City in the Sun," and in southern cities, I did with my colleagues from the my urban studies colleagues from the University of Cape Town, South Africa, a couple of years ago. Time flies. Time really flies, So today we're just going to engage more about our feelings, how we feel about our city, right? And yeah, exploring all of these. Yeah, that's what we're going to be doing today. Shout outs to everyone, and it's going to be a wonderful session. Let me play some music whilst we wait. So I'm going to play one of mine, Southern Cities, um, by DJ Kwaku. Southern Cities. Um, Southern Cities, Balance City. You find it on YouTube as well. Let me get it from YouTube. This inclusivity, mixed uses, healthy cities, dun dun dun, balanced cities. There's inclusivity, mixed uses, yeah. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. A fall so strong, it cannot be stopped now. The everyday lives of millions of people, characterized by shacks, informal settlements, informal economy, emergence, insurgents, slums everywhere. Slum urbanism, southern cities, balanced cities, there's inclusivity, mixed uses, healthy cities, dum dum dum, balanced cities, there's inclusivity, mixed uses, yeah. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. So I found it. There it is. I'm playing it now on blast.
Step into Wix Studio, the platform for agencies and enterprises, and turn website layouts into.
So that is Southern Cities, a song that I wrote and I did with some of my colleagues as part of the Southern Urbanism Program, Urban Studies in the University of Cape Town, the Africa Center for Cities. It was a very beautiful experience. And I hope you enjoyed the song. You find it on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, all the digital channels. You find it by Dijo Kwaku. Yes, so on this note, I would like to welcome all of you to this very unique and amazing discussion that we're going to have about our cities. Yeah, so do you live in a city? And where about do you find yourself in the world? Where are you joining us from? Yeah, where are you joining us from for this particular discussion? Are you in London? Are you in Accra? Are you in Cape Town, Johannesburg? Are you in France? Maybe in Paris? Where exactly are you? In Germany? Where where are you joining us from? Please type in the chat right now. Join the discussion. Let's get it going, guys. I'm really excited to have you as part of this session. It's going to be an engaging session. We want to talk about cities. What is it that you like about your city? What is it that you don't like about your city? Do you live in a city? Do you live in a town? Do you live in a rural or a countryside? And what's the appeal? What drew you to any of these spaces where you live in? And maybe you live in a city and you want to move to, say, the countryside, or you are not in the city and you want to be in the city. We want to talk about all of this. So, what is it that first we want to find out where you're joining us from? Let's get the discussion going. Where about in the world are you joining us from? If you'd like to share that, just let us know. Where in the world are you joining us from? Where are you in the world right now? Type in the chat right now. Type in the chat right now. Let us know where in the world you're joining us from. Yep. Where are you joining us from? Do you want to type in the chat now? So our discussion today is going to center around our experiences in the urban. How we experience our cities and what we make of our city experiences. So here is to just one moment. Let's see. Urban Everyday UK. So welcome to Urban Everyday UK. We engage about UK. We engage about our city experiences. We talk about normal everyday activities in our world. For some time now, we've been streaming we were in Belfast and we're sharing the experiences in Belfast with all of you. And now we're back to London. And this conversation centers around our experience with the city and what we make of these experiences, So the first off is what we've indicated. So I want you to type in the chat now. I would see if you type, welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. So where about in the world are you joining us from? If you'd like to type in the chat. Where about in the world are you joining us from? Thanks for the love. Yeah, thank you for joining us. My name is Joseph. I'm an artist. I'm an urban scholar. And I'm just somebody who loves people and places. So I love to explore. I love to travel. And so far, so good. Love engaging with people. So that's me in a nutshell. Yes, so welcome to our engagement today. We want to talk about our urban experiences. And just to read something while here before we kick in. Our cities make us, Our cities are the places where we find ourselves. The world is gravitating towards an urban and a city space. I think over 50% of the world today is urbanized, right? And in places like Africa, where urbanization is happening very fast, it's very rapid, right? In the West, the West is largely urban. I think as far back as the early 19th century into the 20th century, mid 20th century, the West hit their tipping point for urban. So over 50% of the Western world was urbanized. Howbeit in Africa and in this global South, talking about Latin America, Southeast Asia, and in Africa, urbanization is happening very fast now, and in no time, I think some countries in Africa have already hit 50% urban and going faster. So urbanization is the future now. We cannot go back to being rural or being peri-urban or whatever. But urbanization is happening very fast, and city planning and all of that needs to catch up with that. We can all attest to the fact that there's a lot of things, the repercussions of urbanization. We have a lot of traffic situation, floods, in the global south, in Africa, India, yeah, Southeast Asia, Latin America. We see lots of informality, people selling on the roads. Here in the UK, we find informality as well. In London, you find, but it's just that it's a bit structured and all of that. In France, you see it there. In different parts of the world, we see all of this emergence of informality, be it whether people are sleeping by the roadsides or urban informality, people squatting on the roads or selling by the roads, where we call informal trading. All of that's happening in our world today. So these are repercussions or things that are happening because of urbanization. So we could say these are the effects of urbanization in our world today. So yeah. Today we want to talk about our city experiences. Want to talk about our city experiences, and so where about are you joining? Joining from Ghana. Okay, the jungle reflects you. Okay, you're joining us from Ghana. Thanks, mate. Welcome to our discussion. Which part are you in? Accra, Kumasi, Takrade? Ghana is quite big, isn't it? Kufuria. um, yes, so you're welcome to our channel. Urban Every Day, we discuss issues of the urban. And so, welcome. Thanks for joining us. So, to our questions, the first would say, what's your favorite location in your city? First, are you living in a city? Are you in the countryside or in certain areas classified as villages or towns? Or are you in a town? Are you in a village? Are you in a city? Would you want to let us know that where in the world are you joining us from, and where do you find yourself within the space where you are? Do you consider the place where you are as being in the city? Do you consider the place where you are as being in a town or being in a village? And these are important classifications. And I mean, what defines a space as a city, as a town, or as a village? That's an important one. So it's very subjective. You find in certain places they say if there are 5,000 people living in that space, it's categorized as a city. But in other places, it can be as low as 2,000 or as 3,000. Other places could go to as much as 10,000 people to make that place a city. So all of that is subjective. It depends on the local government or the government of the region to decide whether the parameters or the metrics as to what defines something as a city or a space as a city, a town, or a village. So we've gotten that out of the way. Yeah. So yep. So do you love your city? In this live stream, we're exploring the highs and lows of urban living. Share your thoughts on your city and what are the best and the worst features of your space. I know the Jungle Prefect, you're joining us from Accra, from Ghana. We know that in Ghana we have lots of informality, right? But it's what it is. It's the expression of the people, because there are no formal avenues to absorb people into the labor market. So people have to find or invent ways of still surviving in our cities, whether it's in Kumasi or in Accra or in Takoradi. So this is not only in Accra or in Ghana. We find it in South Africa, in all parts of Africa. You find informality there. You find it in Latin America. You find it in Asia, in India, in China, in different places. Here in the West, in London, you find people selling by the roadside. You find people. It's all over. It's just that in these areas of the West, it's a bit structured. And that's what we're actually pushing for: urbanization, for informality to be structured in our cityscapes in Accra, in Africa, in Latin America, and global South, so to speak, to have informality structured so that people can still make a living, and still our urban spaces will be sanitized and serene, if you get what I mean. So yeah. So let's discuss. So what are your favorite places in your city? What's the highs and the lows of your city? We want you to share your honest opinion, your honest opinions about your city. So I've shared a lot about Accra and Africa and all of that. But being in London here, it's a space where every city has a character, and that's one thing you find when you start traveling around. You find that every city or every space has a character, and in places like Accra, for instance, where I've lived most part of my life, you find that it's very warm. Even talking about the people, you find people talking to you, strangers, so to speak, and approaching you and engaging you in a conversation and stuff like that. It's a very warm space to be, and I think it cuts across most parts of Africa. In South Africa, though, in Cape Town, for instance, it's not that it's not like that. So you find yourself being alone, and so it's when you have communities of engagement or communities that you create these communities where people feel more relatable to you, or you get to create communities where people know you and you know them. These kind of communities is what, for instance, in Cape Town or in the West, helps you to get that kind of sense of belonging. Otherwise, you're going to be feeling lonely. Say in London, everybody's busy, So if you're in such a space and you don't create a community around you, say maybe you like hiking, you join a community of hikers, or you're a churchgoer, a Christian, you go to church, or Muslim, you go to the mosque. You creating these communities around you, kind of watching from Ghana as well. Okay, Stephen. Yeah, Stephen, thanks for joining. So by creating these communities around us, we tend to have spaces of belonging, and that creates that atmosphere of belonging for us in places like the West and places where that it's not as warm as it is, say, in Africa or in, let's say, in Ghana or in Accra, where people can easily approach you and engage you and talk to you just on the street or something like that. So these are the things that we want to talk about. And being in the West, I mean, if you're joining us from London or anywhere in the West, in Germany, in Cardiff, or probably you're joining us from Belfast or wherever in Paris, you want to also share your experience. How is it in your space? How do you find your city? How do you find the space where you live in? And what are your favorite places, or your highs and the lows about your city where you are? Yep. Yep. Let's keep digging in. So that's it. So let's create a vibrant discussion. So we're sharing honest opinions about our cityscapes, cities, and our communities where we live. And so one other question I want to find out. So, okay, so yeah, as this goes on, so I want to find out: do you find yourself living in a city? I think so far 2 people are joining us from Ghana. Okay, one is Stephen. You joined us from Tamale. That's impressive. That's beautiful. In fact, Tamale is a beautiful space. Very warm in terms of climate, in terms of very hot comparative to the south. Yeah, but also the people are also very nice and warm. So thanks for joining us, Stephen. And what do you like about being in Tamale? Is there any particular thing you love about being in Tamale? The jungle reflects you. If you also want to share where about in Ghana you are, and what is it about the space where you are that really jives with you? What is it in that space that you really like or you don't like at all? It's both ways, what you like and what you don't like at all. Yeah, you're joining us from Florida. Yes, live with Melania. Yeah. Hi, live with Melania. Thanks for joining us. So this Urban Everyday, we're just digging in deep into our city experiences. What you join us from Florida, great. So what is it about Florida that you really like or you don't like at all? So that's what we're discussing now. Feel free to subscribe to our channel as we still keep engaging. We keep doing this, talking about cities. It's a safe space where we come to engage about urban experiences and everyday experiences we have in our urbanscapes. We're streaming live from London, and we've visited several places in the UK. You love the oceans. That's beautiful. Indeed, indeed. You really love the oceans. Okay, that's beautiful to share. Those joining us from Accra, Ghana, in Tamale as well, let us know what your favorite spaces are and your favorite experiences. What really jives with you in the space where you are in your city. And yeah, as we keep doing that, we're just talking about, yes, so we said that we're going to have an interactive session like we're doing now. And yes, so what are the stories? So like I was just sharing, we're joining this, we're streaming live from London, and we've explored as a community. We've gone to Cardiff, we've been to Wales, we've been to Belfast, we've been to Ireland, Northern Ireland specifically. And then, I mean, we see divergent cultures in all of these spaces, and it's rightly so because different people live in these places, and also every city has a culture or a climate, you know, and these climates and cultures impact or influence the way we interact with the city. So if you're moving from a place where it's all vibrant and jubilant, and you just, so maybe like I was speaking to some friends here in Colombia, from Colombia, and they're here in London in the UK, and we're just talking, and they were just sharing with me how very vibrant the streets of Colombia are, you know. So, and finding yourself from Colombia to say London, where it's quite diplomatic, everybody's so diplomatic and keeping to themselves. So you know, so how do you interact in such spaces, and how do you find such movement? So for me, like I was sharing earlier, moving from a vibrant space like Accra, Ghana, to the UK, and finding myself in London where usually keeps to themselves, everybody's so, you know, sane, and not to say other spaces are insane, but you know, very interactive and getting community engagement and stuff like that. So what I found to do here was to create communities, right? So I like running, I like hiking. I've not done any hikes here so far, but in Cape Town in South Africa, I used to do hikes and stuff like that. But here, what I've joined a Christian community, and also like this channel that I'm doing, and traveling. So as you travel, you find people who also jive with you. So that's how I'm creating my community right here, right? So creating these communities, like running communities, religious communities, and stuff like that, help you to overcome loneliness, because as we discussed previously right here on the Urban channel, we realized that here in the UK, lots of people, especially those that are matured in the old age, are dying from loneliness. You know, so loneliness is a big killer in the UK, for instance. So all of these are things that we need to navigate as we transition our urbanscapes, and we transition to life or living in our cities. You know, so that's it. That's it. If you have any thoughts, just keep typing them, just keep sharing, and let's get interactive, you know. Anything we don't like about cities, let's go to the negatives. Is there anything in particular you dislike about your city? Anything in particular you dislike about your city? Okay, let's see what's going to be our next. What's the biggest challenge you face living in your city? Yeah, so that's it. What's the biggest challenge you face living in your city? Challenge you face living in your city. That's it. Okay. All right. So the ocean's great. The biggest challenge living in your city, was it? What's the biggest challenge you face living in your city? So here, yeah, let's hear from you, but I'm sharing mine as well. So I think in the UK and in London specifically, you find that you, yeah, the cost of living, my friend here is saying. Meshach, you join us online and chip in, man. Or do you want us to join? Do you want to come here? You can join us here live. So I'm here with Mesh. Yeah. So the cost of living, he was just telling me, yeah, so I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. The cost of living, it's crazy. So I mean, you could probably, this probably, the cost of living crisis has been going on and on. It's in the news and everything. Prices keep going up and up. But I think what's the effect of the cost of living on many people living in cities, and particularly in this regard, those living in the UK, and particularly in, say, London, for example, like myself. So you find that you need to work more hours to make enough money to be able to cover your bills and all the other, and also have a lifestyle, because you realize it's otherwise it just becomes work home, work home, work home, and no one wants to live such a life, do we? No, that's not a life to live, actually. But that's where you find lots of people do it: work home, work home, work home. So it's the thing, the cost of living and the nature of the space impacting on the lifestyles. So you find out people hardly even join healthy activities. People barely have time to do recreational activities, or to have a life outside of work. So that's one of the challenges. But how have I yeah so we find ways to navigate and to overcome these, right? Don't we try to to navigate these challenges by doing finding time to do the things we love to do. So those in Accra, those in Ghana, those in Tamale, Florida, in the US, I know a lot more people are watching because I can see, but you've chosen not to type in. But I would really love to see engagement. It would be great. So try to let us know. So what's the biggest challenges you face living in your city? um I mean, I don't really face here in London is that traffic is not really a big deal. I mean, it may be for some people who travel at certain times, but for me, I hardly face travel challenges. It's not been a challenge for me. So I think it's the cost of living in terms of bills and the rent. For instance, the last time we were talking, we were in Cardiff. Cardiff is in Wales. Our Uber driver was just sharing with us that life in Cardiff is much more relaxed. It's much more way relaxed, and it's not as fast paced as in London or in England. So I mean, he was just telling us in terms of even the rents were way, but a two-bedroom, you could get like a £1,000 for a two-bedroom, or 1,200 for a two-bedroom, which is really good. In London, you're thinking of £1,200 it can't even get you a one-bedroom in central London. No, in central London, you'll be looking over £2,500, in central London. So to talk about a two-bedroom, you do the calculation, do the maths. So that's how things are. So even say South London and the outskirts of London, the eastern, southwest, and all those places, but roughly one bedroom, you're still looking at about 1,600 to 2,000. So it's really, that's just the rent. Or your mortgage, to think about the other bills and all of that. So it's really intense. So these are the things. And I recall in Cape Town, in South Africa, Cape Town, where I lived as well, you find it's a similar thing. You find a similar situation where you could be spending as much as, as much as, I mean, if you compare to pound, but if you spend about 10,000 rand, 10,000 rand to, yeah, so you could be spending as much as 10,000 rands a month for rent, just alone in Cape Town, South Africa, which is pretty high for many. So that's actually for a studio. So if you're looking for, let's say, chamber and hall, or a one bedroom, two bedroom, you should look more 30,000 and above. So these are the realities. So we're talking about the challenges, the challenges we face in our cities. We love the city, we love the ocean, we love the people. But what are some of the challenges we're facing in these urbanscapes and urban places? Traffic, maybe, cost of living, noise. How is Florida? Do you have a lot of noise? Are you affected by noise, traffic? I haven't been to Florida, so I don't know. But maybe you can tell us. Based on where you're based in Florida, is it safety? Safety could also be a consideration. I know because I mean in South Africa, in Cape Town, you dare not carry your phone around. It just you dare not carry your phone and walk about on the streets because you get mapped. Someone's going to attack you just because of your phone. So that was a reality. You just keep every valuable hidden, even a watch. You can't just it's just so insane. No, don't get me wrong. I think Cape Town, South Africa was a very beautiful space. I enjoyed my experience in South Africa. I loved every bit of it. Yeah, but the reality was that it wasn't very safe to walk around. Yeah, so those were the realities. And there are several other places where you feel this. Here in London, Devin, if you check our channel, you find shots that we've done in the evening, sometime even as late as 10, 11, sometimes even towards midnight. And it was safe, just one of our teammates just in town somewhere on the streets streaming live or yeah so here in London the safety is not really, but there are certain places where people snatch your phone and it's a known thing, like they're snatching people's phone by the road. They just snatch your phone, then they get on the scooter, then they just go. So these are also realities. So there's no, let's say, a very safe space all over. You can't say that all of London is safe, or all of the UK is safe, or all of South Africa is not safe or something. No. So I guess it depends on where you are and the time that you are in that space and all of that. So all of these things come to bear when we think about our cityscapes and our city experience and all of that. Lack of green spaces. Oh, I think those in Accra and those in Ghana can attest to this. And maybe those in Nigeria too. Do we have Nigerians here? Our big brothers from Nigeria. I think most African countries can attest to the fact that there are limited green spaces. Yeah, in South Africa, there are quite good, decent number of open spaces and green spaces and all of that for people to engage. During COVID, some of these spaces became like, the places where people came out to just have some fresh air, just a bit of fresh air and to connect with nature, and I think COVID was a big lesson to all of us. And so for those of us who lived in live in places where green spaces and lack of open spaces, we realize that there are not places to hang out, especially the pubs and the clubs and the, walking by the roadside and all of that. But the spaces where we actually get to engage and to with nature, we probably need to travel far to engage with nature. And this way, yeah, that's something that, so I would like to hear from you. Do you have enough green spaces in the place where you live? Do you engage with this green space? How do you relate and engage with these green spaces? I think we have a stream also on our channel, Urban Everyday UK, that we're exploring some of the open spaces here in London. We're in Crystal Palace and we're showing you some of the green spaces in that space as well. So you can check out if you want to see some of the green spaces, open spaces in London. We explored Crystal Palace, the Crystal Palace Park, and a few others. So you can check that out as well on our channel. If you've not subscribed already, I'll encourage you to subscribe to the channel. Yeah, let's keep our comments coming. Type in what are some of the biggest challenges you face living in your city, if you'd like to share that. Just glass of water. Yeah. So let's move on to the next. How often do you explore new parts of your city? And I think that's a big one, right? I was just talking about how if we are confined to the routine of work, home, work, home, work, home, do we even get time to explore other parts of our cities? I mean, this actually a reflection for me too, So it's like a space where we're reflecting. I'm being very reflective here, and I'm hoping that you can also think through in life and all of that, and also share your thoughts. I mean, it's supposed to be genuine, and reflective and engaging. How often do you explore new parts of your city? How often do you explore new parts of your city? If you'd like to share, um, yep. So, if you'd like to share, that would be great. How often do you explore new parts of your city? Yep. Let's have some responses coming in. Do you get to explore other parts of your city? When I was in Ghana, in Accra, because of my job, I used to travel, exploring other parts of the country. So I was based in Accra, but because of my work, I'll have to go probably to maybe I go to Kumasi, I go to Koforidua in the eastern region, I go to maybe Takoradi, up north Tamale, been there a couple of times, to Bolga, to Wa, and other places. Being in the UK, it had to be a conscious effort. It had to be very conscious. Sometimes I just get on the bus and, just ride, go for a ride. It's quite living actually, and it's quite refreshing too. So that's something you can do if you're not already doing that. You can actually just get on the train, get on the bus, and just take a ride to a place you haven't been. Hi Malena, it's good to have you join us. Great. Yes, in London, as it has a lot of green spaces. Okay. Yes, London has a lot of green spaces. Great, great, great. Yeah, so we were just talking. It's good to have you, Marlena, joining us from London. Yeah, so we're just talking about a new item on the bill now. How often do you explore new parts of your city? And okay, so Marlena says if you take a 1 hour train ride, you can go to Brighton and Eastbourne. Yeah, 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 yeah. That's true. So, yes, so a train ride, like Marlena is saying, will get you to a space you have never been. And Brighton is also a nice place to be. Eastbourne as well. I've been to Brighton, it's a nice place. And truth be told, when I went there, I had not started this channel. So we don't have content for it. But we're going to be going to Sussex again. We're going to Sussex. Eastbourne. Yeah, Eastbourne is in Sussex. So we're going to Sussex and we're going to live stream. I think Brad from the US, I've forgotten the state, you requested for us to visit Sussex and to stream, to let you see how Sussex looks like. We're going to do that. So that's a promise I've made to you. We're going to Sussex. And maybe Marlena may join us since you're in London as well. And then we're going to stream and show all of you how Sussex looks like, how the people there, whether they are warm or cold. No, that Sussex is relatively colder because it's by the coast. But as to whether the people are warm or cold, we'll tend to find out when we get there. I know Brighton is a very vibrant space, but we're going to explore all of that. So, yes, so we're going to do that as we go to Brighton. So, thanks, Marlena, for chipping in. Yeah, you can get a train ride, hop on the train, get a ride, and just trip, explore. So yeah, I think in 2 hours, if you're in the UK, you can just get on a train, 2 hour ride or so to Reading. Reading is also a cool space to be. Been there twice already. So just get on the bus if you just want to explore or go to places within London that you haven't explored. Get on the bus and just take a ride to maybe sometimes, because as we all know, it's work home. You need to get on the bus to say maybe central London to Oxford Circus, or maybe go to Liverpool Street, or go to where King's Cross, or other places where ordinarily you would not go. So you just get on the bus and explore these places. So that's it on that. We gonna Marlena, you've not shared. What are your favorite places in the city? I'm not sure. Okay, you just joined us. So, do you have a favorite place in the city? And if so, what is that place? And the other item is, what is it that you don't like about your city? What's the biggest challenge you face living in your city? Kingston is your favorite space. Okay, great. I haven't been there. Maybe I need to take a bus ride or a train ride and explore that space. Yeah, because it has the Hampton Court Palace. Okay, all right, cool. We'll check that out. We'll check that out. Hampton Court Palace. Okay. The city is small. Is it? London. London small. Are you sure, Malena? London's quite big. If you go to Cape Town is a very small city. You can go across its length and breadth in some few hours. But you can't do same for London. I mean, to take you days. I mean, to explore. It feels very small. Okay, I feel you now. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, Marlena. So, um, let's move on to the next item. Do you feel like your city is a welcoming place for everyone? I think this is a big one. So, for people who are migrants, for example, moving into the UK or moving into other places, or migrants going into South Africa or going to Accra, Ghana, or other places, generally, not just migrant, but whoever you are, wherever you are in your city, do you feel that your city is a welcoming place for everyone? I'd like to hear your responses on that. Let me type that in the Q&A. Do you feel your city is a welcoming place for everyone? Do you feel your city is a welcoming place for everyone? It's a deep question, actually. It's a very deep question. Especially if you really identify with the space, with the city. So, to talk of that, I mean, when I visited Belfast, I met with Ken, and Ken is probably joining us now yeah, he was from the USA. Was it California? I've forgotten. So Ken joined us, and he asked me a question. So where is home? And that's a very big question, isn't it? Where is home? It's a very big question, very deep. So yeah. So my initial response was, oh, of course, I'm coming from London, so it's London. But then I thought about it again. So where is home? Now, originally, my home is in Ghana, Accra, right? Accra, Ghana. But I mean, here now in the UK, my home is in London. So sometimes it's not just a simple answer, as it were. So I understand that this is might be a very deep question, and one that you may get you to reflect a bit more. And it's not an easy response to give. So I understand it could be an explanation, and I could understand why some people remain silent on this. But it's a good question to ask, actually. So do you feel your city is a welcoming space, a welcoming place for everyone? I would say, I mean, if you think of Accra is very warm. It's very welcoming. You could just get off at the airport, and right then you make a friend. Right at the airport, or just when you step out of the airport, you make a friend, and it's not someone who wants to scam you. Or someone wants to rip you. No, it's just somebody, like, just a genuine, nice person, individual you just met, who is just like, that's how it is in Accra and in most parts of Africa. That's how you find it's just like that. People are just like that. And it's very welcoming. So, but here, I mean, I must say, so in Belfast, we got off at the airport, and then right then we made a friend. Nice guy. What's his name? Edward. Yeah. Really, really cool guy who was very nice. He engaged with us, was interested in what we're doing. We just had a nice chat and all of that, which was really cool right at the airport. And it was a very nice experience to have. So the whole of the UK is not cold. They are very nice and warm places and all of that. So it depends on um, yeah, the space in which you find yourself and all of that. But I think also sometimes we also need to put ourselves out there. Because sometimes we want people to say hello to us or people to approach us first. But sometimes it's just also nice to give a nice smirk or a nice smile across, and then or you be the first person to say hello, or you be the first person to say hi or to wave or to, smile. And then you probably get it back, or maybe not. But you just move on and you try it again. So, oh goodness, so everybody just seems so busy. I think London is a nice place. If you come to explore and you're coming to just on a tour and you have somebody to hang with, you have people to hang with, it's very just a beautiful space to be in and to roam around and just explore, But yeah, sometimes too, it's quite lonely. It's you feel alone, and you need to find ways of engaging because you know you may not have anybody speaking to you, and if you don't take that step to talk to someone first, and who says or who knows whether the person will respond or not. But I think most people find themselves in the same situation where maybe they feel nobody's talking to them. So if you approach them or you say hello first, you're likely going to get a hello back, and it's been that case for me in most situations. Yeah. So yes, yes, yes. Let's have your comments. Let's have your comments. So what do you have to say? I know this is a tricky question, but I still want to read something from Florida, from the US, from where California, from London, from Germany, wherever you're joining us from. I know there are lots of you watching, so just keep it coming. From Accra, from South Africa. Do you feel your city is a welcoming place for everyone? And I mean, in places like South Africa, yeah, well, of course, we know of the xenophobic attacks and all of that. But that's also it's not just an easy thing to explain. I've been trying to explain to people the experience because sometimes it's not just an easy thing to say that it's not a welcoming space or not. No, no, they're very nice people. I have very good South African friends, very sweet people to be with. So it's the dynamic. There are lots of dynamics at play, and it's so convoluted. It's so difficult to explain at times, and it's when you're in it that you feel. So for the natives, they have this real content where you're in your own country and you feel left out. So and then they feel that the fact that um, yeah, quite a welcoming place. Yeah, so yeah, so that feeling of abandonment in your own space sometimes can really get you in a place where you feel frustrated, and I feel that that's what in South Africa always kind of brings up these xenophobic attacks and stuff like that, So yeah, yeah, we have some responses coming in. Yeah, Accra is a welcoming place. That's true. Yeah. We have from Malena again. It says, I think London is a welcoming place compared to cities in other countries in Europe. Okay. If you'd like to share some more perspective, I'll appreciate it because I haven't been to other parts of Europe. So you can share some more if you'd like. If you'd like, the people are really nice. Okay, speaking of Accra, yeah, thanks. Okay, so yeah, so these are the dynamics that we need to consider when we think about how welcoming our city is. Sometimes when we think about how welcoming us, it's not just about the people. The people is one, but also the infrastructure. If I just come into the city, am I able to find my space, my place? Am I able to find my way around, or will I get lost? Um, it said that when people come to London, you find them holding their phones and just when you go to the left, walk a bit to the left, and then turn back and go to the trying to use Google Maps. Yes, and it's all right. Yeah, that's how we find our way around. It's okay. So what else? What else? What else? Yeah, so so the people, the infrastructure in terms of ability to get around. I mean, uh, access to funds in certain places. In the West, it's a very cashless economy, so it's easy to just tap 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 contactless and you keep going. But in other parts of the world, it's not. It's a cash economy. You need to cash out money. You need to have cash on you. You need to pay by cash and all of that. How comfortable, and how accessible are the cash machines, the ATMs, and all of that. And also in terms of people that have disabilities or are handicapped in one way or the other, is the city disability friendly? All of those things also come in when we're thinking about welcoming spaces in our cities, So in terms of even diversity in terms of religious perspectives and all that, is the city welcoming in terms of this divergence? Does it welcome diversity in terms of all different perspective and all of that? So yeah, so these are all things to consider when we think about how inclusive and how welcoming our city is. But if you're just thinking about the nature of the people and how welcoming they are, yeah, and probably even sometimes the language, if maybe I go into a place where I don't speak the native language, is there a way that I could still communicate and find my way around, or everything is in the native language and I have to get lost? Okay, we have some comments in. Tourists say that people in London are more friendly than, for example, people in Paris. Okay, all right. So we're hearing from Lena, sharing her thoughts from her experience engaging with tourists and stuff like that. All right, cool. Thanks, Marlena. Thanks for all those who are typing in. Thank you so much for joining our community. I'd like to encourage you to subscribe if you haven't done that yet. This Urban Everyday, we engage about issues about the urban, the normal everyday things around us in our cities, the things we see, how we interact with our cities spaces, going to work on the bus, walking by the roadside, driving, the things we encounter. These are all urban everyday situations, and also our businesses. So if you realize that we've hosted some businesses, if you go to our channel, check the vlog or the podcast, you find that we've hosted some businesses. We have more coming in. So if you want us to interview you and to host your business or have a conversation with you, your business, and to host on our channel, yes, yeah, just send us a message. You can reach us on all the channels. I mean, TikTok, you can send us a message. On Facebook, you can just type in the chat. We always check our messages and we'll get back to you. We'll connect and then we'll take it from there. You can also send us an email. All of that, it's there. So that's how we build our community. We help you and then we keep everything moving. All right, so what's the next item on our agenda? Do you feel like your city is welcome? We've done that. Would you recommend living in your city to others? Would you recommend living in London or living in Belfast, living in Cardiff, living in Accra, living in Cape Town, Pretoria, wherever? Would you recommend living in your city to others? Definitely, maybe, probably not, definitely not. Which one is it? Okay, let me start a poll for this one. Would you recommend living in your city? Living in your city to others? To others? Oh, okay, more options. So we have definitely, maybe. Let me make it 3 options. Definitely not. Or let me just make it no. No. All right. So we have these 3. Let's go. Would you recommend living in your city to others? All right, keep the votes coming, guys. Get engaging. We have a vote in already. Yes. Keep voting, people. I want to see. Maybe. All right. We have a maybe. Come on, guys. I know you're there. I know you're engaging. Come on, get engaging. Yes. From the US, from Africa, all around, from Latin America, from Asia, from India. My India colleagues, namaste. Come on, type it in. Would you recommend living in your city to others? I haven't been to India, but I know that it's a nice place to be in. Yeah, it's very big, very big, very big. Mumbai, actually, huge space. Yeah, so let's keep it coming. Someone says maybe. Yeah. Um, let's keep them coming. Would you recommend living in your city to others? Definitely maybe. Nope. Hmm. Okay, as we keep these votes coming in, let's see what else. Okay, we have 2 votes in, or maybe. All right. So maybe. Okay, let's keep it coming in. So now let's see this. What's your favorite local coffee shop or restaurant or bar? Um, so do you have a favorite local coffee shop? Do you have a favorite place? Okay, for Malaya, you already shared. Is it Kingston? Yeah, you already shared your space because you have the palace there. Any other person wants to share your favorite spaces in your city? It would be great to know. And what's the best hidden gem in your city? I think I would like to know that for our channel because we have some nice shots from America, from New York. Some of our teammates have been to New York City and New York general, the state, and yeah, we have some nice content from there. We'll be uploading very soon after we've uploaded our content from Ireland. We'll upload the content from New York. So yes, keep it coming. So the question is, what's the best hidden gem in your city? Do you want to share? What's the best hidden gem in your city? Okay, we have no's coming in. No. Okay. All right. Some people wouldn't want to share. You don't want to. Would you recommend living in your city to others? No. And why is that? If you say no, would you want to share? Perhaps want to share why you would not recommend your city to others? Um, is there a particular reason? It would be great to know. So 33% says no, and 67% says maybe. So nobody has actually said definitely or yes to the question. So nobody wants to recommend their city. It means that there's a problem with our cities, isn't it? The cities are the future, but it keeps eluding us. Maybe our urban planners need to have a look at this. They need to be part of this conversation to see what's wrong with our cities and why people wouldn't want to recommend their urban spaces or the places where they live to others, and why only a few would maybe encourage others to move in. But I'm really keen and interested to know why it's a maybe and a no and not a yes. There's no yes so far. All right, so maybe we'll get some responses from there. But otherwise, we keep on moving on. So if you'd like to share the hidden gems in your city, um, any hidden gems, let me type that here. So, what's the hidden gem in your city? What's the hidden gem in your city? What's the hidden gem in your city? Um, do you want to share? Would really love to know. Okay. What's the hidden gem in your city? But I'm still waiting for responses, concerning recommending our cities to others. Yeah, we have 67 people saying maybe and 33 saying no. Nobody has said yes, we're still waiting. Yeah, so what's the hidden gem in your city? You can type it in, we'll explore it. If we happen to come by your space, we'll check it out, you know. So yeah, I know there are hidden gems everywhere, and sometimes we just want to keep it hidden. We want to keep it hidden, innit? So you get to enjoy it by yourself, alone. You don't want the space to be crowded. But sharing is caring, innit? So please share. Yeah, hidden gems. Someone quite told me some time ago that their favorite place in London was Liverpool Street. They really like the way it is and how the whole space is. So Liverpool Street, I've been to Liverpool Street a couple of times. Yeah, it's been a while. I need to go there again and probably share that with y'all as well. So what's other hidden gems in the city that you'd like to share. Um, yeah, I like Stratham Hill Windmill and the Common. It's a place where I think it's a very soothing space to be. There's an artificial pond just there. There are lots of green spaces. It's really nice. It's a nice space to be actually. So I I like that space. It's cool. Yeah. Okay, since London is very expensive. Yes, it is. It is, but that's the. I think you're responding to the first question about what the biggest challenge you face living in your city. Yeah, yeah, that's the what that's one. It's a big one, isn't it? Okay, so what's one thing you change about your city? I mean, we'll be rounding up very soon. What's one thing you would change about your city? I'm ending the poll now. We've had a good. Okay, let me leave it for another 3 minutes and then I'll end it. So let's move on. What's it's beautiful, especially at night. Okay, Blackfriars is beautiful, especially at night. Okay, that's good to know. I I don't even know of it, so it's good to share that. I'll check it out. Um, get it in my notes and then check it out. Yeah, Blackfriars. Okay, Blackfriars. Okay. All right, we'll check it out. We'll check it out, and then when we check it out, we find it. We're gonna share it with you all. And Malina, we're gonna tag you that yay, we went there. All right, so I'm ending the poll now. Um, okay, poll ended. So, um, okay, so now we have the hidden gems. Okay, keeps coming, and then we're just looking at um, the the things we'd like to change about our city. What one thing would you like to change about your city? What one thing would you like to change about your city? Let's see. What one thing would you? What's one thing? Okay, let's do that. What's one thing? One thing you would change about your city? About your city. What's one thing you would change about your city? All right. Anybody wants to share? Anybody wants to share? Let's get it going. What's one thing you'd change about your city? I mean, having lived in Accra, Ghana, I would say that if there's anything to change about Accra, Ghana, I would say that the urbanscapes, we need to get more green spaces, right? I mean, those joining us from Accra, what do you think? Yeah, we need to get more green spaces. And that means that the government will need to stop possessing or privatizing public lands and just turning every space into a concrete desert as it is, and yeah. And when it comes to planning, I would say that our urban planners should start thinking about ways of incorporating our urban informality. So instead of the law saying that it's informal and it is illegal, the law must be reviewed. The urban plans should be reviewed. The urban policy, and then all of that should be reviewed. The bylaws, the local government bylaws should be checked, and they should find ways of incorporating informality so that it will be more structured, and then it can be properly taxed, and then it will generate more income for the local government as well, the municipalities and all of that. So here, okay, we have some comments coming in. Someone says that, okay, so it's taxes. So you'd say that, well, the one thing you'd change about your city is the taxes. The taxes. Is the city taking taxes from us? Or in terms of, if you explain a bit more, that'd be great. Okay, Malena says the cost of living and homelessness. Cost of living and homelessness. Yeah, that's a big one, isn't it? You know, so I mean, of course, in UK, we all know everything is double taxed and triple taxed. You get your money taxed. Your 20% of your salary is taxed. I mean, your tax is taxed 20%, and then everything you buy it is also taxes here and taxes there. You know, so it's insane. Innit? And the other thing is the cost of living. I've already said. Then the homelessness. You know, these are big issues. You know, they are the giant in the room, the elephant in the room, and that it needs to be dealt with. You know, so thanks for sharing. Nearing the end of our discussion and our engagement about our cities. What's your favorite memory in your city? Wow, favorite memory in my city. Hmm. Favorite memory. Favorite memory. Hmm. Let me type that in. What's What's your favorite memory? Favorite memory? Memory in your city. I mean, I think the UK is very Victorian, and particularly, I think, yeah, they told us that Belfast has the most historic, or yeah, it's the most historic in terms of architecture. So they've preserved most of the Victorian architecture. So you have buildings and structures that have been there for over 300, 500 years, and they are still there. Yeah, so yeah, they were telling us in Belfast all of this. Yeah, so yeah, so here we find certain structures and certain institutions that have been there for a very long time. But yeah, but I'd like to hear what your favorite memory in the city is. What's my favorite? I think my favorite memory in the city would be when I met my friend here after moving here, because I hadn't seen him in a long time. And when I moved in, he happened to be in London as well, and then we connected, and that was a really great um, time actually. Yeah, yeah. Let me see. Is there another one? Okay, I'm thinking, reflecting. Do you want to share yours? What's your favorite memory in the city? I mean, for those who have you lived your entire life in certain scapes in city spaces, I think you have even more maybe experiences that have lasted for, or more enduring experiences probably. Yep, keep them coming, keep them coming, keep them coming. Well, favorite memory in your city, what is it? What's your favorite memory in the city? All right, so as we're rounding up, um, you know, so I've already shared some tips. If you live in my first boat ride in central London, oh, that's lovely. Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely. That's from Marlena. First boat ride in central London. That's lovely. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. Let me see. Maybe I'm thinking of scenic experiences. Which one would it be? No. So let's keep going. So we've already shared. Malena, you're in London as well. So what tips would you share for people um, who live in London and or people who want to visit? Because in our previous streams, we had people who wanted to come to London. And I think one of them actually is in London by now, should be in London by now, because he said he was going to be here as of this week. So he should probably be here already. Yeah, so any tips for people who are traveling to the UK or people who live in London, how you've managed to navigate your life in the city and living in London and all of that. Any tips? Let's share tips now, guys. Share your tips with me. I'm sharing mine with you. Yeah, tips to make our city experiences fun and lively, and enjoy the best our city can offer. Whilst we live in it. So yeah, keep it coming now. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. And as we are at this, I just want to remind you, if you've not already subscribed to our channel, this Urban Everyday UK, we engage with our community, all of y'all watching us now. We just engage and discuss issues pertaining to our cities. We also share with you experiences across our cities. We actually take tours just so that we can share these experiences with you. We've been to Reading, we've been to Cardiff, we've been to Belfast, Ireland, and we're going to be in Turkey, we're going to be in other parts, we're going to be in France. We're just exploring everywhere. So, yes, so all this just for you, mate. All just for you, so that you can appreciate the urban everydayness. Most of the things that are projected on social media are like they just project the flamboyant, the iconic, the spectacular. These are the things that are projected in most cities, right? But what we want to highlight is the ordinary urban everyday. We want to highlight the things that are not special, the things that are not maybe flamboyant or no, just the ordinary everyday. That's what we're highlighting, and I think it's rich. Just the ordinary, how people live in our cities. Just that it's so rich. You get ideas from that. You don't need to be in London to see how London looks like. You don't need to visit Belfast to know how Belfast looks like. No, you can sit in the comfort of your home and still experience it by just watching and connecting to our channel. And yeah, that's what we're doing. We want to share this rich experience with you. We save you money, we save you time, we save you all of that. You just sit in your home and enjoy the experience of living in places where you have not physically been. So it's a virtual tour, if you like. So subscribe to our channel and connect with us. So that and ring the bell so that you be the first to know anytime we post a new content or we go live or anything of the sort. There are so many opportunities. So this from Marlena, so many opportunities to do whatever career you want. So do a lot of research and enjoy yourself. That's very true, Marlena. Thanks for sharing. I think that's one thing that it's here in the West that it's lacking in most third world countries, or if you like, the global South, where everything is so boxed. So it's like if you start your career or you study arts, then you have to stay in the art channel. You cannot transition to a different field. If you start maybe your career or you start your education, you study science, you cannot transition to another field. You just have to stay in that. So it's so rigid, but here you can transition. I mean, I think, yeah, there's basically no limits. You can crisscross, wear different hats, change careers, do whatever you want, and I think that's the beauty of the West, So that's true. So you can be whatever you want to be, you can do whatever you want to do, as long as it's legal, it's legit, just explore and do your research and take the risk, take risk, calculated risk, and enjoy life, explore. That's what I'll say. So that's it for now, and I'm so excited. And thank you so much for joining us for this live session, this engaging session about our cities. Thanks for sharing your time with us, and for your ideas. Thank you so much, Marlena. Thank you, all the guys. I know lots of you joined, and you couldn't really, what do you call it, type or I know some of the questions were pretty intense. You need to reflect and all of that, and it takes a lot of heart to engage. So thanks so much for engaging and for joining this conversation. Yeah, any parting thoughts for those who are still with us? Any parting thoughts? Yeah, thank you also. All right, thanks, Marlena. Thanks, everybody. So on that note, we're saying goodbye from us at Urban Everyday UK. We say, love you, keep living, keep loving, keep being you. Cheers. Love. Ciao. Bye. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet. Cheers. Love you all.